the one thing that I found fascinating, and I Twittered about this, was during that second inning barrage. It's interesting when you look at this team, and they'll have like one of these games every 2 or 3 weeks where they're not just inherently swinging at every other pitch, and they're actually taking a couple of walks. They took 4 walks today, which 4 walks still not a ton, but it's a more palatable number than what we typically see.
And White Sox pitching only walked one batter on the other end of that.
Right. So that's good. But it's not just the taking walks aspect of things. And I feel like I talk about this pretty regularly. I think a lot of people get hung up on just the walk number. Another big thing about it with this team in particular, and some of the guys in this lineup, it's taking pitches to get yourselves in a hitter's count where you can do damage on the baseball, not just going up there looking for that walk, getting yourself into that 2-0, 3-0, 3-1 count where you can just sit one pitch, one zone. If you don't get it, you take it fine. But if you get it, you swing out of your fucking shoes and you try to hit the ball to the moon.
That's what Gavin Sheets did on a 3-0 count today.
Exactly. Now, does anybody know if Pedro Grifol had to apologize for Gavin swinging 3-0 in that circumstance when they were up big already? Have we gotten confirmation on that? No. Okay.
Don't care. Don't know. Don't care. But I was glad to see that ball get absolutely launched.
But look, that's what this is about right here. You get yourself into those counts so that you can be dangerous in the batter's box, and we don't see that from this offense enough. No, when we do, like I said, we get one of these games every 2 or 3 weeks, and then they have this inning that Friday night game in Tampa when they scored that 6 runs or whatever it was in the one inning when they took like 4 or 5 walks against Jalen Beeks there. They'll do this every once in a while and just tease you with it. And that's like they look like a normal functional offense that can be really dangerous. And then they follow that up by just going back to their free swing, hacking at everything ways. And that's what is so frustrating.
I don't know if this is an organizational thing. I understand that, we've got a new hitting coach. Frank Mendocino's gone. But I feel like with this core group of players, who some of them were not in the lineup today, Stephen, we've seen that story a lot. We've talked a lot about how having Andrew Benintendi in the 2-hole or even in the leadoff spot would benefit this team over it being Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, 1-2. Now, if you go and look at that lineup today, it's very interesting how these guys were lined up. Still TA in the leadoff spot, but Benintendi in that 2-hole provided a vastly different look than what we've sort of seen, especially if you go back and look at the Luis Robert slump days, he was consistently lined up almost in that 2-hole for a vast majority of this stuff. Moving him down provides him a little bit of lineup protection, provides him the ability to go out there and not try and get on base after a, Tim Anderson 2-3 pitch at bat that leads to an out because you're trying to set the table. I like Luis Robert in a position where he needs to go out there and drive in runs. Hanser Alberto obviously comes up big for the Sox today, but I liked the way that this was sort of lined up because I think Benintendi provides a good at-bat. I think Gavin Sheets provides a good at-bat. Yasmani Grandal provides a good at-bat. Elvis Andrus, although he's not been great at the plate all season, he still goes up there and he's not swinging at crap all of the time. So you had some guys in this lineup today sort of spread across it that didn't allow Reds pitching to just work a quick inning. And that's where you see the offense is able to explode. So I will say, I like the way this was lined up. I thought it gave him a great chance to win. We'll see if it sticks.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think the idea of moving Robert down in the lineup, especially right now, makes a ton of sense. So, I feel like I've been pretty critical of Pedro Grifol and some of his lineup construction issues here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think he's doing the right thing here right now by putting Robert in a position to be a little bit more dangerous, get himself right. I think he reached base, I want to say 11 or 12 times this weekend. And, he's, I think since the benching, I want to say he's taken like maybe 5 or 6 walks since that happened. So
It's been
we've
a different
seen,
plate approach.
yeah, we've
It's been a
seen a
vastly
different
different plate approach.
and that's a very encouraging sign. Hopefully that is something that will stick, because we've seen these hot stretches before. And when he goes on these heaters like this, I mean, he looks like one of the 5 best hitters in the sport, and because he's just doing damage with consistency. Again, if he's able to go up there and take pitches out of the strike zone and get himself into counts where he can be dangerous and do damage on the baseball, he's a dynamic player. We've seen that, and he's the kind of guy that can carry an offense. And for a team that was going through a stretch where they were not scoring a lot of runs, if he goes on a heater like this, that's the kind of thing that can get a number of other guys rolling potentially as well.
Well, and you can see it with the walks, Steve. You can see it with the walks. When he starts walking, it means he's being dangerous, not only from the sense that people are trying to pitch around him, but also he's not swinging at stuff that he shouldn't be swinging at and putting together a quality at bat. That's what we've asked for on this show numerous times, is just quality at bats from Luis Robert. And I've been very, very happy with what I've witnessed take place since the legs were tired. I will call it the legs were tired incident for probably the remainder of Luis Roberts' career, because it was just so interesting the way that all went down. But overall, he's putting the White Sox sort of on his back here with most of the other core not performing to where I would say they should be, or not available